Hello, I'd like to welcome everybody here in person and online via Zoom to the construction open house for state project number 0156-0181, I-95 Interchange 43 improvements, and to thank you for your interest and time. My name is Neil Desai. I'm a public information coordinator with H&H, which is one of the companies involved in this project. I will be handing over. First, for those joining through Zoom, closed captioning and non-English translation options are available. To change the settings, find the Zoom toolbar and select Show Captions. Then click Speaking Language, and then click the language you'd like to see from the list. A brief overview of the project. First, I'll cover the Title VI notice. We'll give you an update on the latest in the project, talk about upcoming project activities, as well as upcoming traffic management activities, and then we'll close with questions and answers. The Connecticut Department of Transportation would like to remind you of your civil rights. No person shall, on the basis of race, color, or discrimination, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the design and construction of this project. For more civil rights information, please visit the link shown on your screen. It's the Office of Equity at Connecticut Department of Transportation. There's also a voluntary post-meeting survey that would be very helpful if you could take. A reminder that this presentation is being recorded, and it'll be posted on YouTube after the event. The Connecticut Department of Transportation operates in programs and services without regard to race, color, and national origin in accordance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Any person who believes he or she has been aggrieved by any unlawful discriminatory practice under Title VI may file a complaint with the department. And thank you. Now I'll be handing over the podium to Steve Harlacher of H&H to start talking about the project team.
Thank you. Taking time today. Just to introduce the project team, in the room today, project engineer from Connecticut Department of Transportation, Steve Hebert, is in the room with us. Resident engineer from GM2, Matt Cleary, is in the room as well. To my left, Carrie Stressbeck, the project manager from Middlesex Corporation, and myself, design manager from Hardesty and Hanover. So this is a design build project, the project that we're working on, which is an alternative delivery system known in the industry, where the state of Connecticut as the owner has contracted to a design entity called the Design Builder. The Design Builder is a team in our instance, the contractor Middlesex Corporation, along with Hardesty and Hanover, the design engineer, or H&H. The Design Builder then forms a project team with the Connecticut Department of Transportation as the owner of the facility, and GM2, the resident engineer responsible for evaluating the contract compliance throughout the project. So our goal is to work together to deliver the project. So the project purpose, there's a board here that briefly outlines that, to reduce traffic congestion and improve traffic flow on I-95 southbound directions, City West Haven, and taking an opportunity during this B5 bridge carrying traffic over the First Avenue Bridge, as well as the bridge carrying traffic over Metro North. We'll have improved safety as a result of this project, reduced traffic congestion and improved flow. As a result of the project, we'll also be making drainage improvements for improved stormwater management with the department's objectives. And ultimately, because we're designing 2 new bridges with the current code, reduced maintenance costs for the overall maintenance of the facilities. Project location is not too far from this site here. There's a 1 mile radius drawn to give people an idea of where it is. It's just along the border between New Haven and West Haven, near the west river. So a little bit of a zoom in map is shown on the right, showing the I-95 bridge over First Avenue. Will also be referred to in the presentation to the North Railroad. I'll refer to that as Bridge 162. And then some of the interchange 43 off ramp from southbound and on ramp from north to northbound, and then the CTDOT park and ride will be referenced as well. So another view of the project site looking towards New Haven and the New Haven Harbor in the distance. To help align the viewer of what we're talking about as far as the off-ramp to First Avenue, the on-ramp from First Avenue to northbound. Conditions, the roadway right now doesn't meet standards for shoulder width and curve radii and super elevation. These are designed in the 1960s originally, so there's standards have grown considerably since then, and then the roadway is could stand to be improved through some widening to accommodate current and future traffic demands, as well as entering and exiting traffic. So some of the interchange 43 improvements that are forecast, the I-95 northbound, you can see on the right side of the image, there's the on-ramp to northbound has a relatively short entrance ramp, and that causes some congestion as vehicles attempt to go upgrade and merge onto I-95 northbound. So one of the improvements that will be made is that northbound on-ramp will be lengthened and extended all the way up to the beginning of Bridge 162 over the Metro North Railroad. So there'll be a much longer space for vehicles to merge into traffic. The 3 lanes that are currently going over Bridge 162 and entering the project site will be maintained all the way through to the end of the project near Bridge 163, which is over the West River. So the project begin point is essentially just south, roadway south of the entrance ramp, where we'll start the project and move through the project site. Where possible, after tapering from the existing shoulders, we'll have widened shoulders, a 16-foot right shoulder, 16-foot left shoulder near the high-speed lane, and then a 12-foot right shoulder in the northbound direction. To accommodate this, there will be some retaining wall work and slope work adjacent to the highway. Illumination and drainage improvements are also going to be a result of the work required for the northbound roadway. In the southbound direction, an operational lane from exit 44 on to southbound to the off-ramp at exit 43 is going to be carried through the entire project limit. So to demonstrate that, on the right-hand view, you can see where my cursor is the on-ramp, and that merges fairly quickly on Bridge 163 over the West River essentially to a 3-lane cross section, and then there's an exit for exit 43 after that. So that service lane from 44 on to 43 off will be maintained the entire length of the project. We'll also maintain 3 through lanes similar to the northbound side. Much of that construction will occur adjacent to the southbound lanes in the space between the existing bridge and the Metro North infrastructure that's located in the vicinity of Bridge 162. Similar to the northbound, we'll widen the shoulders, a 16-foot left and a 12-foot right shoulder, until it tapers down after Bridge 161 into the existing cross section. There will be upgrades to exit 43 off ramp. This again, similar to the northbound side, illumination and drainage improvements will result as a part of this project. So a cross section of what that widened roadway between bridges 162 and the West River will look like. Widened shoulders. We do note it at one location, but it will actually be in the right-left shoulder in both bounds. That southbound service lane, this is southbound traffic coming towards the viewer, and then a widened embankment on a retaining wall will be used to accommodate a much wider roadway with those wider shoulders and the additional lanes. That widened embankment will be constructed in the space adjacent to the southbound roadway. As a result of this project, 2 bridges are going to be replaced. These bridges are in poor condition at this point. This is Bridge 161 carrying I-95 over First Avenue. This is a picture looking north on First Avenue towards northern West Haven. There is a parking ride, if you recall from the orientation views, is on the left side of the screen. This is currently a 3-span bridge. And then the objective of the project is to eliminate the first span 1 and span 3 and make it a single span bridge over First Avenue. So an artist rendering of what that will likely look like at the end of final design is shown here from a similar vantage point. With a wider roadway, abutments, and the elimination of the piers and the 3-span structure. Another artist rendering from the north looking towards the south with the harbor in the background, showing the I-95 over First Avenue and the widened structure. Businesses located in the vicinity of the project on either side of First Avenue will be are a consideration by the design team, and we're evaluating at this point. And thank you to the attendees that have made some comments to the team. On the exit 43 exit ramp, there is the mast arm traffic signals will be provided to upgrade the traffic signal infrastructure for that new ramp as it comes down onto First Avenue. For Bridge 161, an elevation view of what that bridge will look like. The existing bridge shown in red will be demolished, and then the new bridge shown in blue and gray will be provided with additional width at First Avenue between the faces of the abutment compared to the existing bridge. The new bridge railing will be a concrete parapet and will meet current safety standards. And then the spans 1 and 3 will be eliminated and filled with concrete abutments, concrete face block abutments. Bridge 162 carrying I-95 over Metro North is replaced. That is a 6-span bridge at this point. That will be replaced by using, again, with a single span bridge over the railroad and the elimination of existing spans using retained earth embankment and a lightweight fill that will be retained by retaining walls. An artist's rendering of of what that bridge will look like, with including the widening, as you can see in the foreground, southbound with that additional service lane, a single span over the railroad, and then the retaining walls. Lightweight aggregate will be used for the creation of the embankment to allow the elimination of the spans and a shortening of the overall infrastructure. And that bridge will be constructed between the existing bridge initially and the Metro North infrastructure. So some upcoming design activities. The project as it's unfolding right now is a design build, which means that construction and design are congruent. We're working on them at the same time to the greatest extent possible. Semi-final design has been completed by the design team and sent for the department's review. We are completing the remaining aspects of semi-final design, which is comment, incorporation, and resolution in compliance with the contract that we have out for the project. Another key aspect, a very important aspect, is the next steps for stormwater general permit registration and the development of a stormwater pollution control plan. You can see in this view that there is that there are water courses and wetlands in the vicinity of the project. So those areas will be, are important to protect, with a stormwater general permit and stormwater registration. That stormwater requirement needs to be completed before any soil disturbing activities are performed by the contractor. That is a priority at this point. The final design would then be completed, with release for construction following shortly after that. And there are two elements to release for construction in a design build. There are early release for construction packages, which are developed to allow the contractor to perform some activities before other elements of the design are fully completed. So we're working towards developing some packages to get the construction of the project moving forward where possible. The other aspect of release for construction would be the ultimate final design packages. Ongoing activities also include utility coordination and railroad coordination. Those of you familiar with the area are aware of the UI power pole upgrades that have been occurring along the railroad right away, as well as the railroad itself. So there's quite a bit of coordination that is ongoing at this point right now as we complete the design. Terry, I'll turn it over to you. Talk a little bit about this.
Sure. Terry Stressbeck with Middlesex, the general contractor for the design build team. As Steve mentioned, some of our first activities on site that will be coming up are able to start with our early release for construction plans. We're getting close to that point now for one of the first activities being in the staging area, which is located at the Park and Ride on the northbound Bridge 161. We're expecting to be able to start there this late summer, this fall. Some material deliveries to the site that we can get a head start on. Another early release is our test piles for Bridge 162. We're able to get a head start on that early this fall to advance on that bridge. And then first activities up on 95 will be roadway shoulder strengthening for future maintenance of traffic to move traffic over for the first stages of the project. And we'll also get a head start on erosion and sediment control for the project with an early release plan. The Park and Ride area is a staging area for the project that I had mentioned. This is an aerial view of the parking lot currently. What we will do is share that lot with existing commuters. The shaded area is what will be a staging area for Middlesex. We will maintain 34 spaces, including 2 ADA spaces for commuters while we are working in the area. So that will allow for partial occupancy for the entire project duration. And again, that happens here starting late this fall. We have already coordinated with the shuttle bus services to relocate some that are using that commuter lot currently. And we are again expecting this to start late this summer, early this fall. Steve will go back into some of our shoulder paving activities.
Thank you. See if I can follow. About that. So some of the shoulder paving that Carrie mentioned. So there is an element of the project of the traffic management plan where to construct Bridge 161 and 162, we need to shift the traffic in the northbound and southbound lanes. So what that will entail is the northbound lanes will need to occupy the shoulder in the vicinity of the bridges, and those shoulders are currently paved with an inadequate layer of pavement to support the amount of traffic that will be required of them during the project. So some initial paving will occur in the vicinity of Bridge 161 and up towards Bridge 162 and a little bit beyond that. So a plan view of that is essentially shoulder paving. There'll be no detour routes as a part of that work. The work can be performed during off-peak work windows. And we expect that to be late 2020, late summer 2024, early fall to get that paving work completed. So the staging sections that we discuss, this is Bridge 161 shown, will be as shown on the right side of the screen, looking at the abutment. So upcoming construction staging, this is really advanced stage work. So that paving will essentially be in a work zone adjacent to traffic with some lane closures to allow Middlesex some room to complete the work. I-95 southbound will essentially be unaffected by this, so northbound traffic during off-peak will be reduced in the amount that the contract permits at the hours overnight that we're allowed to do so. So that shoulder improvement will be done during essentially what is an advanced stage. This advanced stage will continue and once soil disturbing activities are permitted and the permit has been provided, essentially portions of the abutment will be constructed directly below the existing bridge up to the point where we're able to do it. So that's shown in green in this view. Another future traffic management aspect to discuss is a detour route. Because that traffic needs to occupy the shoulder for the northbound lanes. The already short merging taper for the interchange 43 on-ramp to northbound will essentially have to be closed to maintain safe travel conditions during construction. So detour route at that time will be activated. We expect that to occur in the spring of 2025. On the right, the proposed detour routes are shown. There's a northern detour up Campbell Avenue to Boston Post Road and down L.T. Grasso Boulevard, and allowing traffic to enter I-95 northbound at interchange 44. There's also a First Avenue South detour over the Kimberly Avenue Bridge, and then across over to get to I-95 northbound instead of using the interchange 43 ramp that will be closed. On the I-95 main line, when the bridge over First Avenue is being constructed, the initial stages will occur adjacent to the southbound lanes. Partial demolition, approximately a third of Bridge 161 or the bridge over First Avenue will be demolished. Traffic will be pushed over, as I noted, occupying the shoulder. So northbound traffic shown away from the viewer. Stage one would be the adjacent to the southbound. Once that is complete, southbound traffic will be shifted onto that new roadway and new bridge, and the middle portion would be done between the two bounds. And then ultimately traffic from the northbound will be shifted to that bound, and then the remaining work would be completed at that time, and then some additional stages to clean up striping and paving, etc., as we complete that work. All the while, the First Avenue on-ramp will be closed to allow for those tighter conditions in the shoulder. Switching the view here in the interest of the photograph, which is looking with southbound traffic going away from the viewer. When the Bridge 162 over Metro North is constructed, a significant portion of that realignment and widening of the bridge and roadway would occur in space adjacent to the existing bridge, between the existing bridge and Metro North's facilities. So this is shown a section through the embankment with orange and the new work, some work occurring underneath. If you recall from the rendering and the discussion of the retaining walls, some retaining wall work is necessary to make the 6-span bridge a single-span bridge. So that work would occur in the vicinity of 162 in some of this space. So stage one impacts to traffic in this area of the highway would be lessened when compared to Bridge 161. Both bridges would be worked on simultaneously as part of the construction plan. Some of the additional future traffic management on First Avenue, there is some work that needs to occur on First Avenue. One of the local businesses is shown here. Shielding construction for work over the roadway. Drainage replacement within the roadway. Those abutments would need to be constructed in spans 3 on the left and spans 1 on the right, and this would occur in the stages that we've identified over the roadway, and then that traffic signal replacement in the vicinity of the existing traffic signals using traffic signal mast arms instead of the span wire that's currently in place. For traffic management, largely 2 traffic lanes would be provided during peak hours. So there'd be, the ability for northbound and southbound traffic to pass through the site. The roadway would not be closed. During off-peak periods, there may be times when alternating one-way traffic with a flagger or a police officer might be necessary to allow equipment in to do the work that's necessary in the vicinity of First Avenue. And then there may be halt periods of approximately 10 minutes or so to allow the movement of large pieces of the future bridge as girders are placed or other aspects like that. So the public outreach plan, including social media, will be used to communicate any of these changes as we move forward. So Neil, I'll turn it back over to you for question submission form. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve and Carrie. I'd like to first bring attention to everybody the different methods through which you can ask questions. On this slide here, it shows you can email the DOT directly. You can leave a comment by phone by leaving a voicemail message. Phone numbers provided. We will be looking at questions that have come in from Zoom and answering those right now. And of course, there's a project website at I-95westhaven.com. There's a contact us page there. I think right now I'd just like to open it up to in person if there's any questions you have of Steve or Carrie right now. Yes, sir.
It's a the ramp southbound. Is it going to be closed?
The question is the exit 43 ramp southbound going to be closed?
The answer is no. There may be periods of off-peak closures for paving or something along those lines, but no, there's no detour plan for the exit 43 off ramp from southbound to be closed.
Excuse me, the on ramp on First Avenue
To northbound, that will be closed. Yes,
will be closed
spring of 2025 to the completion of construction through 2027. Follow up.
I have more questions. Is there an agency that's been assigned to monitor the airborne particulate pollution?
The question is there an agency that has been assigned to monitor the airborne particulate matter, if that has been done so?
Not a particular agency at this point. The DOT will be on site managing the project and their consultants. And as a contractor, Middlesex will be providing dust control, watering as necessary, and other means. So we will have a stormwater and pollution control plan.
And one other question. What are your, allowed working hours?
Question is, what are your allowed working hours?
Specific to any operations or to limits,
In a previous project in the area. The contractor or subcontractor was driving piles at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't think that was quite right for the population. That has been subjected to that sort of treatment. And I was wondering, do you have restrictions in terms of when you can work?
For this project, regarding piles, there's not any driving of piles. It's micro piles, so they're drilled into the ground. So you will not have that type of noise of the driving of the piles, but there will be nighttime and daytime work ongoing at various times throughout the project. Some things will have to be done, especially at night, that involve lane closures on Interstate 95. We do have time restrictions that we can do those lane closures. It was 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. So there will be construction at night, but anything that we can do during the day that does not involve lane closures will happen daytime.
Jackhammer at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, are you allowed to jackhammer at 2 o'clock in the morning to reach your production schedule?
I believe currently there's not any restrictions to that, but with the staging of this project, most of that demo work can happen during the daytime since the area will be closed off and would not require lane closures for that type of work. So, and we'd always prefer to work during the day with visibility if we can.
Now I'll just check the. So we have a question that's come online. The question is, has there been traffic flow consideration given that the Kimberly Avenue Bridge replacement is planned for the exact same time period?
So the projects are being coordinated. We're working with the design team on the Kimberly Avenue Bridge project. Which is slated to begin construction after this projects are being evaluated.
Thank you. And that's the only question we have that's come in from our virtual viewers. I guess I'll just ask if there's anybody else here that has a question, then we'll close up the presentation.
Have a question? Maybe a follow-up question.
Oh, that's just a slide, the back of the
Okay.
slide. Yeah, that's a screenshot from somewhere else.
Okay.
That one. So, well, thank you everybody for taking the time to listen to this presentation. Again, if you have questions, please look at if you still have questions that come up after, please take a look at this slide and the different ways you can provide those questions or comments to us. So thank you once again, and have a good evening.